We'll be over by then.
All right, call this meeting to order on August 18th, 6 o'clock p.m. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilmember Bracco, and please remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Malcolm McPhail.
Join me in the salute. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got it. Good evening, everybody. I'm Pastor Malcolm from New Hope Community Church in Gilroy. And, I do a lot of reading, and I once read a leadership book by an expert nationally known who said that leaders are learners. And then most recently, I was reading through the book of Proverbs in the scriptures. And in Proverbs chapter 18, verse 15, it says, wise men and wise women are always learning. They're always listening for fresh insights. And so my encouragement is that you continue to learn, hearing the voice of the people, hearing the voice of other leaders around you, hearing the voice of those that serve you in the city area of city management, and that we continue to be learners in everything that we put our hand to do, that we might be better, that we might raise the elevation and the water level of all of our community to the place of peace and contentment. So let's pray. Lord, thank you so much for the scriptures which challenge us to learn and to have knowledge that would not only be beneficial to ourselves, but would be beneficial to those around us and would be beneficial to the hearers. And that, Lord, our people would learn from and grow and mature and be the people that you want them to be within this community, within the leadership of this council, and within those that serve our city in many different capacities. So thank you for knowledge. And, Lord, may we learn to apply knowledge. And as the wisest man in the world said, that we would grow in wisdom. We thank you for that, and we ask that in your name. Amen. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 1.4, City's Clerk's report on posting of the agenda, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This agenda was posted on Thursday, August 14th at 4:55 p.m.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco. Here. Councilmember Klein.
Here.
Councilmember Fugazi. Here. Councilmember Hilton.
Here.
Councilmember Marks. Here. Councilmember Ramirez. Here. Mayor Bozo.
Here. Moving on to employee introductions. We have employee introductions? We do have employee introductions? Okay, we have employee introductions by Chief Binder. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, honorable members of City Council. We do have one introduction to you for the police department. Brittany Gordillo comes to us. She's walking up. Go over on this side. Yeah, there we go. We didn't rehearse. Brittany started her career in law enforcement as a records intern for the Milpitas Police Department in 2019. She then became a police data specialist at the San Jose Police Department and ended up transferring out of state as an evidence technician with the Opelika Police Department in Alabama, where she was responsible for maintaining and processing departmental property and evidence, assisting with records and background checks, and providing daily support to both the public and officers. Brittany has a Bachelor of Arts degree in Criminal Justice from Cal State University Bakersfield and an Associate of Arts in Criminal Justice from Evergreen Valley College. Brittany has been married for almost 4 years and has a 4-month-old son. She enjoys traveling and reading fiction novels and spending time with her family. And we're grateful to have her here with the Police Department for the City of Gilroy.
Thank you, Brittany. All right, moving on to ceremonial items. We have three proclamations this evening, and I'd like to explain how this works, so I'll go through it, and then I'll ask folks to come on up. But we have three. The first one is for Arian Ganesh. Is Arian here? Here. Is Arian here? Okay, so perhaps he'll come in, and then I will get to his at that point. So then I'll do two proclamations right now. One of them is going to be for a National Emergency Management Awareness Month proclamation, and that will be received by Andrew Young, Emergency Service and Volunteer Coordinator for the City of Gilroy. And the second one will be for Resource Parent Appreciation Month, and that one will be received by Miss Maria Perez right here up on my left. So I'll go down and read it. The first thing I'll do is call up Andrew, and then Maria, I will call you up after we do Andrew's. Thank you. Okay, City of Gilroy proclamation. Whereas emergencies and disasters can strike without warning, threatening lives, property, and our environment. And whereas local emergency managers, community stakeholders, partners across all sectors and all levels of government work together tirelessly to prepare for, respond to, recover from, and mitigate the impact of disasters in our communities. Whereas the mission areas of prevention, protection, mitigation, response, and recovery align with the national preparedness goal and guide local emergency management priorities. Whereas the dedication of emergency managers has strengthened our communities, helping residents recover, rebuild, and become more resilient in the face of adversity. Therefore, I, Greg Bozo, Mayor of the City of Gilroy, on the 18th day of August 2025, together with my colleagues on the City Council, do hereby proclaim August as National Emergency Management Awareness Month in the City of Gilroy, in alignment with National Preparedness Month in September. I encourage all residents to recognize and thank our emergency managers and preparedness partners who work diligently to protect and strengthen our community against all hazards. Thank you.
Thank you. So first and foremost, I do want to thank you, Mayor Bozo, and council members for bringing recognition to emergency management. You know, it's incredibly important that we thank our local emergency managers, our community stakeholders, and our volunteers who are all involved in preparedness and work together well, sometimes in the background, getting things done to make sure that our city, our community is more safe and resilient. So I do urge you, get to know your emergency managers, and we are here for you. We want to help you be better prepared. Thank you.
Okay, the next proclamation is on behalf of resource parents and caregivers in the Santa Clara County and especially in Gilroy. And today I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna ask Maria, please come on up. Would you like to come up with your daughters? Please come on. Come on. Stand by and give her some support. Okay, I'm gonna read this proclamation, and Maria is gonna receive it on behalf of all of the caregivers in South Santa Clara County. So it says, whereas resource parents, including kin caregivers, are the pillars of stability in the community, who selfishly open their homes and hearts to support the safety, health, and development of children and youth who are not able to remain in the homes of their families of origin. Whereas in Gilroy, there are 27 families, and in Santa Clara County, there are 533 resource families, where resource parents serve as a constant source of care and encouragement, not only to the children and youth who reside in their home, but also to the families who are working hard to overcome incredibly difficult and complex circumstances to reunify with their children. Whereas resource parents empower children and youth to become confident, independent, and successful by seeing and valuing them for who they are, while supporting and celebrating their individual and unique differences. Whereas the City of Gilroy honors and celebrates its resource parents for the dedication to their children in transitioning from resource homes, acknowledging their profound impact on the community. Therefore, I, Greg Bozo, Mayor of the City of Gilroy, do proclaim August as Resource Parent Appreciation Month and extend a heartfelt gratitude to all families who embrace the responsibility of providing a home and family for children in need. Thank you very much. So before I ask you to say a few words, and perhaps your daughter, she's thinking about it still, I do want to say a few things about resource families and fostering families and adoptive families. So a lot of you know that oftentimes those who foster children end up adopting children. They become lifelong, have a lifelong relationship, whether they officially adopt them or not. And I think we have one of those right here on my left, right? But I wanted to call a little bit of attention to some of the folks in this room that have been part of the system of fostering and adopting, right? So first, I want to make mention of Councilmember Klein has 3 grandchildren that were adopted out of the fostering. You have 3 grandchildren that are now adopted to your daughter, right? I was talking to Councilmember Ramirez about her mother. Their family did fostering for many, many, many years, so that's familiar to you. Councilmember Hilton was adopted with 3 other siblings from a single mother, I believe. So now I see why you're so independent. Right? And moving down the line, Councilmember Fugazzi and his wife Nancy adopted a son from Quito, Ecuador when he was very, very young, a toddler, around 2 years old, correct? So I appreciate, being able to make this connection, that this proclamation that you guys asked me to do. It's ironic that this was about 4 or 5 months ago when this process started. And just ironically, some of you guys know this, but last week, my wife and I and my daughters, my family, after having a foster child for almost 3 years, was officially adopted into our family on Thursday. So thank you. And I don't know, one person who probably got out of here, I wanted to make mention of this, is somebody who I get guidance from a lot away from here is Pastor Malcolm Maffeo, who's also from the foster system and who was adopted when he was a young child from the streets of San Francisco. So he has a very interesting story to tell about his fostering. So thank you, everybody, for doing that. And then finally, I would like to say a few words about Maria Perez before she's going to say a few words in Spanish, I believe. So you'll see this. So just when you think you're doing something in your community, along comes somebody like Maria Perez, who for the past 20 years has been doing fostering in her home here in Gilroy. And she is unique in that she only prefers to have teenagers and teenage girls. So and in speaking to them, I found out this evening that nearly 100 foster children have passed through her home over the past 20 years. So thank you very much. With that, I would like to hear you say a few words.
Okay. My first language is in Spanish. I came from Mexico 40 years ago, and I studied over there social services, okay? And this is why when I came over here, I tried to help to the teenagers, because I hear that most of the foster moms, okay, scared to the teenagers. Okay. And my proposals, I have one over here, okay, and they leave from my house, but they come in or they call me, they send me letters, and when is the Mother's Day or in Christmas. This is for me very muy confortable y me siento dichosa de tener este tipo de niñas. Sí se batalla, sí es cierto, porque todas vienen con sus diferentes problemas. Es batallar a veces con sus familias también, porque nos echan la culpa a nosotras de que nosotros, ¿por qué las tenemos, verdad? Que no las dejamos ir. En mi caso, he tenido niñas que las he recogido de la calle prácticamente, ¿verdad? De drogas, de pues andar, que las prostituyen. Entonces, para mí todo eso ha sido un reto y ha sido muy reconfortable para mí, ¿no? Saber que ahorita Conozco varias de mis niñas que son muy buenas mamás. Tienen sus hijos y son muy buenas mamás y agradecen eso. Con ella, ahora sí, duró 4 años conmigo, pero hizo runaway, ¿ok? Hizo runaway, pero a los pocos días regresó. Y regresó llorando que no tenía dónde estar y pues continué con ella. Hasta que cumplió los 18 años y ya se fue a vivir en Independent. Para mí es reconfortable porque yo tengo 4 hijos, ¿verdad? Y todavía sigo con los nietos, ahora sí levantándolos. Y de vez en cuando sí, les doy sus jaloncitos a ellas, inclusive en las oficinas de San José. Pues me conocen porque dicen que soy muy gritona. Así es que sí es cierto, tengo mi voz muy fuerte, pero yo creo que eso las hace un poquito calmadas. Entonces, aquí estoy y sigo.
All right, my name is Samantha Perez. As my mom, as I like to call her, mentioned, I am a former foster kid from her back in 2019. From 15 all the way up until I turned 18. And like she said, I did run away. But I did come back the next morning, like right early in the morning. But, it just goes to show that, we just come back because she's that much of a great mom. And even though I do have a birth giver, as I like to call her, I really do consider Maria Carmen Perez my biological mother because she's always been there for me when I need her. Whenever I need my mom, I call her. And she's always there to pick me up from the floor and to show me, to continue to be doing great and to make her proud. So thank you. I love you.
I need to do one more. Okay, I believe Arian.
Yeah. That's right.
I'll read this. You can see it. Okay. Okay. So here I have a certificate of recognition that's going to Arian Ganesh. This certificate of recognition is awarded for your distinction as the STEM winner at the Santa Clara County 2024 Synops Champion Science Fair, Monday, August 18th, 2025. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you like to say a few things? Yeah. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'm deeply honored to receive this award from the Gilroy Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for recognizing my efforts. For the past 7 years, I've had the privilege of participating in the Synopsis Science Fair. And this year, I was excited to advance to ISAF, or the International Science Fair. For many years, I have done the science fair. For example, in 6th grade, I have done a science fair for cancer, how to prevent cancer using natural products. This year, I've done an underwater oil robot to detect oil pipelines in subsea pipelines. So I've done and I have a lot of experience doing science fairs. What makes this experience even more special is seeing how it inspired my friends. Several are now motivated this year to participate next year, which feels like an even bigger win. I want to especially thank my parents for their constant help, support, and guidance. I couldn't have done it without them. I'm also grateful for my teachers and my entire community for their encouragement. Gilroy has been an incredible place to grow, and I look forward to continuing to give back. Thank you.
You can come on down, council. You can take a picture with all of us. Bring your certificate. All right, come right over here.
Thank you.
You're good? We'll just
Just wait for the rest of you to get in there. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to take one more. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good.
Okay, Maria, would you like to come up with the camera? Would the resource folks like to come on up? Also, get a big group picture.
All right, so we're going to have you look here first. All right, one more. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
All right, everybody hold. Andrew?
Take 3.
I'll have you scoot this way a little bit towards Andrew. Perfect. Thank you. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, we got it. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 4. Item number 3, council correspondence, we have none. Thank you. Item number 3, council correspondence, we have none this evening. Presentations to council. Public comment, please.
Yes, Mayor, I have 6 speakers. I'm going to call up Genevieve Corbin, followed by Ron Kirkish, and then Cyrus Canapor.
Good evening. Just wanted to touch bases with you guys. I know Zachary has seen me before, and that I'm here from the senior center or senior apartments down on Monterey Avenue in regards to the working out of the crosswalk and light system so it would become safer for our people or anyone to cross Monterey Highway. It's extremely unsafe right now. One of the other small little things that goes along with that is the fact that all the oleanders and the trees on the medium going straight down that whole section of road is so overgrown that it's growing out into the street. The trees are so overgrown that if we get some really good winds, which we do in Gilroy, unfortunately, we're going to have a lot of broken branches and broken trunks and everything else in the roadways, which makes it even more dangerous. So I would appreciate very much finding out where we stand with our crosswalk. And I know they've been working on from like the medium on like up towards 10th Street, and they've been doing a great job. I see how nice they've got it all done up and everything. It's great. Well, we just want to know if you're going to continue on. So it'd be nice if you guys could let us know. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Attorney, and especially Brad. How you doing, sir? I just want to say thank you for stepping up and help us out as an interim city administrator. I've heard good things about you, too. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say a few more words. I'm not going to expand on these, but in the future, I'm going to be speaking to especially Brad, but the rest of you, on issues regarding morale here at the City Hall. Also, issues of the opening City Hall like it was before COVID. It's important. I've had calls from a few that sit up here with you about incidences that really have upset them about trying to get into City Hall and the person at the desk not recognizing them, even though they've been on the council for at least 10 years or more. So something's got to be done. We got to open this back up. Safeway's open, Nob Hill's open, everything's open. There's no reason why we shouldn't be open too, and I'll be working on that with you later. The homeless issue. As we know, the homeless issue is a constant issue. I know Mr. Fugazi's doing a great job on his part, and so are Carol and Dion trying to get this place cleaned up from the encampments. So that's something that I hope that Brad will focus on, that we sort of suffered in the last administration. So again, thank you, Brad, for coming. It's really appreciated, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Council, I'm Cyrus Kianpour, and I'm the president of CSG Consultants, which is an employee-owned company who's been in business for over 35 years and exclusively works for public sector. Therefore, we have no conflicts of interest. I'm joined here tonight with several of my colleagues, Michael and Cricket Brinkman, that assist with building plan reviews and building activities, as well as Sophie Trunk and David Rubchik, who help with engineering and public works services. I'm standing here before you simply to defend the name of CSG. In your last council meeting, we had a contract that was not awarded. And if it would have been left at that, we had no issues. However, during the public meeting, our name was berated. And the employee owners of CSG deserve to have to be treated better. What was said was untrue, extremely disturbing, and offending. We have worked with the city of Gilroy for 27 years. And during that time, we have worked collaboratively and cooperatively with your staff. Our primary goal and focus has always been to protect the city of Gilroy and its citizens from any liability arising out of development review projects. Our primary goal has always been to adhere with ever-expanding and increasing codes. I won't get into the details of how many different codes we have to abide by. But nevertheless, during this time, we've done our best to make sure that code compliance is made with public safety, fire, and building safety. We are always open to constructive criticism and have done a great job of incorporating the suggestions from our clients. Having said that, that's resulted in 27 years of experience with City of Gilroy. I have sent an email, a letter to your city clerk that would be distributed to you all. I would respectfully ask to have the opportunity to meet you all on a one-to-one basis. And secondly, I strongly urge you, utilizing the appropriate protocols to go through the city administrator's office and your executive team and talk to your project managers. Please get their perspective. They are the subject matter experts in what we do. So having said that, please take that steps working with your executive team. Lastly, I look forward to meeting with you all in person. I appreciate the opportunity to be here to talking to you and look forward to seeing you in person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cricket Brinkman, followed by Greg Filios, and then Donald Panino and Forrest Williams.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I am Cricket Brinkman, Regional Operations Director for CSG Consultants for the Building Services side. First, I would like to express our appreciation for the strong working relationship with your building official and team, and would appreciate the opportunity to continue our services. Please know our job isn't about slowing projects and making projects difficult. It's about preventing costly, dangerous mistakes before they are built. It was very disheartening to hear the perception of CSG and the services we provide. The statement regarding 90 days for projects timelines does not reflect our process. Our turnaround times are 10 days for first review and 5 days for resubmittals. When additional comments appear on building plan review, it usually means there was a design change, and we make every effort to note that on the plan. We agree with you, and we are here to help building owners and developers, not stand in their way. Are there hiccups at times? Absolutely. Due to state laws and code requirements, but we feel we do our best to help these processes to ensure that your community is safe. We have protocols in place for our team to focus on city ordinances, and together we focus on building code, customer service, life safety, and targeting review cycles. When our plan reviewers look at building designs, they're making sure it will, 1, protect public safety. Buildings must withstand earthquakes, fires, and other hazards to people inside and around them to stay safe. Number 2, we comply with state law. Cities are legally required to enforce the building code. Skipping reviews puts the city at legal and financial risk. And number 3, believe it or not, we're here to save money and time. Finding problems on plans is far cheaper and faster than fixing them after construction has already started or after someone gets hurt. The goal is not to create hurdles for businesses, but to help them succeed without dangerous or expensive setbacks. If there is something that CSG can do better, please give us the opportunity to do so. Please know, a good plan review means fewer surprises, fewer change orders, and a safer, most resilient community, which is exactly what supports long-term economic growth. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Additional speakers? Sorry.
Greg Filios, followed by Donald Panino and then Forrest Williams.
Honorable public servants, this Wednesday, August 20th, school starts. Just want to make sure everybody's aware and the community is aware that once school starts, again, be aware that if you're anywhere near schools in the morning or in the afternoon when they drop off and pick up, just be aware. We want to make sure everybody is safe, and there's been over the summer, there's been a lot of people have been driving fast, and they got to get used to. They can't do that anymore. They got to be aware that the schools are back in session. So let's be aware of this. Point number 2. It's important that we get the city involved. That we want to get our community involved, and so to get volunteers involved, I was thinking about this a project. Volunteers in City Council, VIC. We have the Volunteers in Police program. Great program. So these getting volunteers and they have these great shirts. And it'd be great to have a nice volunteer in City Council. You can start out. You can even to get a project that started. Get some interns from Gavilan and San Luis State, and get a project started where they get people involved who want to volunteer and help you guys out. What is it that you guys? There's a lot of things that these people can do to help you guys out, to make your job easier and better. Volunteering in City Council. Think about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's my slowness. I'm Donald Cimitari Perino, and Mr. Mayor, City Councilman, Chief of Police. I came back from Cars Grove, and if you believe that, I got 7 bridges to sell you. We came back from Gambling Casino in Cars Grove. Chuck Chansey. We left at 3:45 this afternoon. Just before we got up to the top, there were no cars going east. I told my driver, my brother-in-law, it must be people having to stay off. We get over the top of San Luis, a truck with a tow truck blocking both lanes. traffic backed up to Casa de Fruta. And this morning when we went east, there was construction in only one lane going west. So those poor people in the commute, bad this morning, bad this afternoon, terrible this afternoon. But my real talk is, Tom, Garlic Festival, great, great. I got to say to all of you, atta boys, atta girls, we got back on the map, Gilroy Garlic Festival. I talked to somebody this past month and said Gilroy Garlic. He said, I don't know what garlic is. He was from Minnesota. They don't grow garlic up north. He didn't know what garlic was. But years ago when I was talking to Remington in Wisconsin, I said, Gilroy, and she said, I know Gilroy Garlic Festival. It's known all over the United States and the world. I'm sure glad you got to start up again. I'm so glad. And I'm looking at the console this a couple of times to my left, Italian in front of me. We had Prince Fowler's Italian mayor, Donald Gage, Marie. The Italians are going to take over Gilroy. But getting back to what I should be talking about, the traffic on front of the Gilroy High School, perfect. It was blocked a couple of weeks, but it's beautiful, real wide, real great for Gilroy High School. And, but anyway, terrible commute today. And once again, attaboy to all of you that helped in the Garlic Festival, and the ladies, attagirl. Tom Dean, who I work with at United Technologies, he used to do that. He was a supervisor from Hollister. And he would tell everybody that did good, attaboy, attagirl. He didn't care what sex. And you did a great job for Gilroy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Forrest Williams. I'm a former city council member for the city of San Jose, and I'm now on the board that deals with science fairs. We host a science fair each year, the Synopsis Championship, and we invite students from all over the county to come and participate, to show their projects, to have them judged. And we give awards for the students who excel in terms of science. And our primary purpose is to excite and encourage all students, parents, enemies, you name it. We want them to be a part of the science fair. And with the Santa Clara Valley Science and Engineering Fair Association, that look forward to cities recognizing their students for their science achievement. And we have been blessed with the cities throughout the county. Los Altos, we have Santa Clara, we have Mountain View, and so forth, recognizing their students. So what you did tonight was significant. You don't know how much encouragement you gave tonight for Aaron and his project. He will love those experiences. Who knows? He may have residence here in the city of Gilroy and contribute to the future, because we know we need them. We are leaving them with lots of problems to solve, and they're on their way to do that. So I want to thank you for all that you do to encourage our students to pursue science careers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have no more speakers.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 5, reports of council members. Councilmember Bracco.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
No report.
Councilmember Marks.
No report.
Councilmember Hilton.
Thank you. From the Valley Transportation Authority Policy Advisory Committee, I've seen the June South County Caltrain ridership numbers. Monday through Friday, 4 trains north, 4 trains south in the evening. Caltrain plans on putting the full burden of the South County Caltrain costs on VTA, and it starts at $15 million. More trains or increased frequency will increase the cost. Caltrain is currently using federal tax funds to operate the South County Caltrain, and that is about to run out. Those funds could be better spent on the needs met for mass transit. It's not fiscally responsible to fund South County Caltrain at $15 million for 365 riders Monday through Friday, that when they aren't serving the current commute travel patterns, and while VTA is facing a fiscally constrained fiscal year 26 and 27 transit operating budget. Caltrain is also heading into a deficit for fiscal year 27 too. We continue to talk about this at our South County VTA agenda preparation meetings with VTA staff and Caltrain staff. VTA plays a role in our city's development review process, and Caltrain doesn't. We are focused on moving the most people on mass transit from Gilroy to Diridon. We track and budget ridership costs from both agencies and have been comparing them for a long time. When ridership is low, services get cut, that's a given. From Silicon Valley Clean Energy, the board provided feedback on the SVCE fiscal year 2025-2026 operating budget and strategic planning in preparation for adoption in the September's meeting. No major changes to the budget are proposed, and customer discounts are planned to remain at 4% at this time as SVCE adjusts to anticipated falling energy prices over the next several years. Reserve funds, which have been conserved for several years, will be assessed to ensure that SVCE can continue to provide clean electricity while offering robust customer programs that reduce emissions. The board also provided input on the agency's strategic focus areas and moved towards adopting a biannual planning process. SVCE is hosting 2 webinars to educate customers on maximizing their savings using federal tax credits that expire on December 31st. From the South County Youth Task Force Policy Team, I'll be providing this update to the full policy team at our Wednesday meeting. The Civic Center Master Plan initial community outreach study and conceptual layout is complete. The Environmental Impact Report is currently being prepared, and the EIR and Master Plan document approval is anticipated in the spring-summer of 2026. I am in full support of laying the groundwork for a Civic Center Master Plan and building a Civic Center Park and multi-generational community center that is for all ages. The focus on free spaces for our youth to have after school and on weekends is a top priority for me. The City of Gilroy and Gilroy Unified School District have many facilities that can be used by the community for free, and that's why I've convened a joint agreement use working group. We have the opportunity to develop programming and provide spaces for the public with no barriers now. Gilroy has a once-in-a-generation opportunity to shape what they want and experience in their Civic Center. Gilroy deserves this opportunity to transform the Civic Center outdoor space, build a state-of-the-art community center for all ages, build a state-of-the-art city hall, and we need input from all ages. Gilroy is in need of a central location for youth services, gathering spaces for large groups or events, and a year-round space to offer recreation and community events. We need a city hall where our city staff can thrive in their workplace, and a place where our elected officials and city commissions can host their meetings and public events in a state-of-the-art council chambers. Our residents and customers deserve a state-of-the-art experience when they come into City Hall for permits, plans, pay a bill, or interact with staff and elected officials. I encourage all residents to think big in your input for the future Civic Center, recreation, and a Civic Center park and outdoor spaces. Lastly, we will be getting an update on the critical funding gap that directly impacts operations of the South County Youth Task Force Restorative Justice Youth Diversion Program. And Gilroy Police Department is requesting support to ensure core services continue for South County youth victims and the community. Thank you.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Just a quick update on the Sister City Committee. We had our meeting last week, and Kennedy Angtich gave an update on her trip to Angra as our ambassador and expressed her gratitude for the opportunity. She emphasized her appreciation for learning about a new culture and gave many stories with regards to that. They are looking at connecting with a PR firm to learn more about what they can do to help with a communication plan so that Gilroy can learn more about sister cities. And finally, representatives will be going to Japan in September to attend the Takamachi Garlic and Beef Festival as they celebrate their 40th anniversary. That's all.
Thank you. Councilmember Klein.
I just want to give a quick update. The Gilroy Youth Task Force, which was formerly the Gilroy Gang Task Force, started by our former mayor and the late Don Gage. Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Well, see, you always get the correction, get the context. So thank you. Anyway, wanted to just talk about the Youth Task Force and what they're doing these days. We gave $2,500 to the National Night Out event that just happened. It was a great event, and so it's a great way to support that. And we also gave $2,500 to the Youth Police Academy. And now we're working with South County Youth Task Force and how we can be a mechanism for them, because right now we're just giving money away but not really doing much. So we want to do more, and the need is accessing grants and monies to support that. And so that's one of the focuses we're going to have for the Youth Task Force. So thank you.
Thank you. And I will report on Cities Association of Santa Clara County. This is a committee, a body of representation from each city in Santa Clara County. And one thing that we were given a presentation to this past Thursday night was from the County of Santa Clara Board of Supervisors. They came in and presented to us that they have voted to put on the November ballot a sales tax increase, a 5/8 cent sales tax increase in anticipation of a shortfall from federal funding. So that's something that everybody should keep in mind. This is a very fast-moving measure that's going on the ballot. So look for that and look for more information on that coming very soon. But it will be on the ballot this November. Okay, moving on to item number 6, the consent calendar. Any questions from council? Okay, public comment?
I have no speakers.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I have a
second.
motion by Councilmember Bracco
I'll second.
and a second by Councilmember Klein to accept the consent calendar, item 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Moving on to bids and proposals, item number 7.1. Award a contract to Griffin Structures Incorporated for construction management with master architectural services for the Santa Teresa Fire Station design build project. Take it away, Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Osenton. I'm the Capital Projects Manager in our Public Works Division here. Tonight I'm going to be speaking to you a little bit about the Santa Teresa Fire Station Design Build Project and the process that we went through. Our recommendations are we are asking for council to award the contract to Griffin Structures for a total project cost of $1.163 million. And this contract would provide construction management with master architectural services for the Santa Teresa Fire Station. Some background on this project. The city has planned to add a permanent fourth fire station in the Glen Loma Ranch area to help improve service coverages and response times. This proposed location is in the southeast corner of West Lucchesa and Miller Ave. So if you look at this picture here, it's the corner that hits right into that roundabout. This is a map showing the layouts for that same plot. Parcel Q is the designated location for the fire station, and it is dependent on the surrounding neighborhoods being built prior to or in conjunction with the fire station. In June of 2025, Public Works Land Development provided an update that Glen Loma Ranch is in the process of identifying developers to complete these neighborhoods, and they are expected to take up to a year at minimum. Some background on Glen Loma. So the Glen Loma Group and the city entered into a development agreement in 2005. This agreement, after several amendments, required delivery of a turnkey fire station prior to the 1100th building permit being issued. After many delays, it was decided that the city would lead the development and delivery of the fire station, and the developer would provide remaining funds. In November of 2022, Gilroy voters approved a charter amendment to allow for design-build projects in Gilroy. Design-build is an alternative method for construction projects that provides benefits when compared to traditional approaches. Constructing the fire station under the design-build model would help us reduce our overall costs and shorten the construction timeline. Some of the benefits of design-build include a single point of responsibility for both design and construction, faster project delivery times, a better understanding of costs earlier along in the process, and a reduction in risk and frequency of change orders, which kind of helps you stay on schedule and on budget. This is a good visual representation of some of the differences between traditional method and design build. As you can see here, you get a good picture of when the cost establishment comes through and some areas where you're able to do two processes at the same time. So we went through a bid process. We issued an RFP in June of 2025 for construction management with Master Architectural Services, which is known as CMMA. The firm selected will serve as the city's representative from start to finish for this project, overseeing everything including bridging document development, design build entity selection, design, construction, and project closeout. Their job is to ensure the design, budget, schedule, and quality align with city requirements while providing the technical oversight needed for a project of this size. The city received 4 proposals, which were evaluated and scored by an internal committee, and the review committee determined that Griffin Structures was the most qualified firm to lead this project. This was based off of several factors, including Griffin's experience delivering over 100 public safety facilities in California, including the recently completed Salinas Police Service Headquarters and the Watsonville Civic Plaza project. They've done numerous fire station design build projects, and they have extensive design build staff with an expertise, including Design Build Institute of America professionals on their team that would work directly with us. The project schedule would cover 6 phases, and it's expected to take approximately 34 months. If we start next month, this would end approximately June of 2028. For our funding sources, pricing was a factor in the review committee's evaluations of the proposals. Griffin's proposal received the highest average score from all the members of the committee and was the second lowest total cost from the 4 proposals received. The contract would be funded by the Capital Projects Fund with $1.5 million for fiscal year 26 and $11.5 million total available in fiscal year 27, which would include Glen Loma Ranch's fiscal responsibility. Griffin's proposal is for a total CMMA cost of $1.163 million. And I do want to point out that Glen Loma Ranch is responsible for $3.6 million of the $11.5 million to support this project. Those funds are tied to the development of the parcels in the map that I showed earlier. And like I mentioned, Glen Loma Ranch is in the process of identifying a developer to complete those neighborhoods. This could require a city to temporarily backfill that gap with some city funds. For our next steps, should you approve this contract, we'll commence the project immediately. Concept designs and bridging documents would be completed in early 2026 with design build entity selection beginning in the spring. Thank you, and I'll ask John now to come up to answer any questions you may have.
Councilmember Fregati.
Can you expand on the waiting for Glen Loma to finish or work on the neighborhood before we can break ground, or how does that exactly work? I know it's a little bit confusing, the way that you described it, and you described it at the end as well. The final map was at the end, but in the beginning it sounded like it was something about we can't start on the actual project until they have their part done or started.
Thank you, through the mayor. There are kind of 2 pieces to this issue. One is the money itself, which is tied to finalizing and basically completing and recording final map for that. So that's the financial side of that. There is a bit of an issue potentially with the site itself, which comes with that site. And if you look at the subdivision, there's going to be significant mass grading to build that subdivision. This has always intended to have retaining walls around the site for the fire station, along with walls above that point, basically creating the area for the fire station. That is not going to happen generally unless and until the subdivision moves forward and the actual grading comes with that. There's also potentially some other infrastructure, some utilities infrastructure. Now, as we alluded to, this is a situation in which the city down the road could choose to front some money. We believe that there is an opportunity to look at also moving forward with the walls and the fencing itself and work out basically a payback agreement from Glen Loma on that. So this does not necessarily stop the project in its entirety in its tracks, but there is some concern about where exactly that links in with their marketing, selling, and ultimately getting development started on this subdivision, as well as, I believe, 2 other pieces of property that they've been trying to market.
So it's not contractually made that way then? You're saying it's only operationally a problem, but not a contractual issue?
Contractually, from the funding side, the only part of the agreement, and this was part of a recent approval of a development agreement amendment, I believe, that basically tied this to completion and recording of the final maps. Now, that was K&B Homes was at that point was in contract for those, and for this subdivision in particular. They basically pulled back from that agreement and that deal with Glen Loma, and so I think at the time when that agreement was moving forward, there was an assumption, an expectation that that project would be moving forward with KB Homes. That is not the case at this point.
So the answer is no. There's nothing contractually that makes us wait for it in terms of the actual operational or breaking ground or any of these things, but there are construction issues, obviously, around building a retaining wall and doing other things that if you did them before they did that, it could be more challenging and we would have to front the costs, et cetera. Does that summarize it pretty well?
We would need to, yes, we would need to have some kind of reimbursement agreement back from Glen Loma for us to, I believe, to front that money and do that work.
And as a city, we haven't made a decision yet on this kind of contingency, like, hey, if that happens and we don't get one, we're going to go that way or we're not going to go that way. We just are kind of in a wait-and-see pattern right now?
This is for full disclosure, frankly, tonight. We believe that we can move this forward. We'll continue to move it forward. There are months in advance that we've got to deal with to get to the point where we would even be breaking ground. So we feel, for full disclosure, we wanted to make sure it was clear that there was a connection between that subdivision improvement, but we believe we can move forward with this and should move forward, and we can get to the point of construction regardless.
Is there any likelihood that we'll get this done before June of 28, that you've sandbagged a little bit in there and that?
The staff report indicates that from our conversations, 2 to 3 months probably is about the best that we could come up with in terms of compressing the schedule under best case scenario with it, frankly.
And all the estimates take into account that we're not going to start some of this building for a year and a half or what have you in terms of the construction costs and whatnot?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Rocco?
Yeah, this is confusing. It's not making a whole lot of sense. We discussed all this over months and months. When we negotiated this with Glen Loma, was so we could get started right now, not wait another year. It was to get it started right now. I feel like I'm being sold a junky old used car right now, and I'm hearing a big story. What we're hearing here tonight is not what we've been told in the past.
Exactly.
Totally opposite. We were told this thing would be done in about a year, 18 months tops. And now 3 years? I mean, come on, folks. They built Levi Stadium faster than that. We built the library faster than that. And I'm going to tell you, from my experience with dealing with staff and city projects, this project needs to have a subcommittee. This is the only reason that library got done like it did, and it finished ahead of schedule and under budget, was because we had a subcommittee. Because of our experience with the police station and the last fire station we built.
Councilmember Marks?
I agree with Councilmember Bronco completely. I think, Harjo, I have a question for you. Because a few months ago, and Council, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought we got the last payment from Glen Loma this past June. And then I'm hearing where more money is tied in a contingency if they get more homes built. I'm confused.
Yeah, I'll just backtrack a little bit. So the amendment to the operating agreement that the council approved after negotiations with Glen Loma back in November of 2024 really included triggers, if you will, that when those triggers are met, it would trigger a payment to the city. So the first one was obtaining the parcel in itself, which was contingent upon entering into certain additional licensing agreements for us to allow Glen Loma to be able to go and build the retaining wall. We entered into that agreement. We fulfilled, the city fulfilled its commitments. Glen Loma fulfilled its commitments. We got access to the parcel. The second piece was related to certain approvals of tentative maps. The city council did do that earlier this year. As a result, when that occurred, when those maps were established, Glen Loma, the second trigger came in, which was the additional contribution from a monetary perspective. The last and the least one is related to this subdivision. When the final map, the first final map of this subdivision is approved, within 10 days or prior to the council considering 10 days prior to that, they will deposit into an escrow the remaining amount, which is $3.6 million. So that's the piece all along they were negotiating with a developer. We had full faith that it was going to occur this year. However, in June, we were notified, Public Works was notified that that deal with the developer did not go through. As a result, they're now having to solicit proposals, other developers. Naturally, that's going to impact the timeline of when that final map would be before you for consideration. So,
Okay, I guess I'm missing something here. I don't know why the city would have agreed to wait on this contingency for them to build homes and if this. I'm not questioning you. I'm not questioning you. I'm not upset with you. I'm upset with Glen Loma right now because we have waited and waited and waited. To me, I really don't care if KB Homes backed out on them. They owe us $3.6 million for this station, and to me, they should just come up with it and pay it. Okay, and I guess there's something more to be said. And now, are we legally bound by this?
that's how the agreement was drafted, and that's how the agreement is outlined, and that's what the council approved. Yes, it has these triggers. Sorry.
We don't have to wait to build a fire station, though, do we?
No, so within the fiscal impact, what we talk about is this. It's really purely a timing issue. So John mentioned, from an operational standpoint, the timing of building the retaining wall and such. From a financial standpoint, again, we can move ahead. City has monies that the city has accumulated. We have received contributions from Glen Loma from the first two triggers, so we can proceed with commencing the work. What we've in full disclosure, what we have attempted to outline is there might be a timing issue of when the remaining 3.6 is received by the city. Now, all goes well by the time we enter into the design phase and we're getting ready to award a contract. If in parallel Glen Loma is able to secure a developer and actually secure the final map, then it's purely a timing issue, right? And if they're not able to run in parallel, then we're ready to award the project for construction. At that time, we might have to figure out some financing mechanism to say either enter into some sort of a deal, or we just say the city's going to front the cost, and then whenever that action happens, we'll get the monies.
So in other words, this council could direct staff to start the project and use our reserves if necessary to get this project completed.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're stating. Is I think we're ready to move forward with the project as proposed with this agreement. But we felt it's important. We learned of new information that it's important to communicate that to you.
And I have one more, and I guess it's to John. Sure. Thank you, Harjo. John, I don't know if you were with us at the time, but this council had heard that we were going to use Morgan Hill's firehouse design. So I'm really a little confused when I heard tonight that we're going to start the design phase. I thought we already had the design, and like I said, I don't know if you were here when that discussion happened. And Council,
I wasn't. Councilmember, through the mayor, I was not not directly involved in that conversation. Now, I have those plans. I have looked at those. I think the only thing that I'm aware of is that we were planning to use that as some guidance toward what we could do based on what their basically project cost was and the programming that they were providing to that point. I will say this, from the time I've arrived here, this has been, for me, at least internally, clearly understood that this was the process. This is the design-build process. Design-build process is set up this way. There is a specific process to this point. Certainly where we can cut corners, where we can cut time, we certainly will look for it in every opportunity we can. The consultant certainly, the construction manager is intending to do that as well. This is not something, they'll get paid for the project done, and the sooner they're done, the better off it is for them as well. But there is a process that we do have to go through. We cannot just use their plans and build from that point. This site is not that site. There are improvements there at the Butterfield site. That's a different project, but it has very similar types of programming as well, and we will use that. And we do have a set of plans that Morgan Hill has provided us to look at.
Okay, we'll go Fugazzi, and then Hilton, and then Ramirez.
Yeah, real quickly. First of all, that's how I remember it too, John, Carol. I do remember that it was to be used as a guideline, more or less, and also a funding guideline. But specifically the question on the contract and the legal, and maybe City Attorney can comment on this. It appears to me that this could be something that could essentially go on for a long time, as long as it possibly could. And is there any clause after that it says must end by a certain time, or it gets paid out, or could they drag their feet basically to infinity on selecting somebody and even possibly deciding not to develop it at all for 10 years, let's say?
In the agreement that people are referring to is the operating memorandum number 4 that was negotiated with Glen Loma and approved by the council. My recollection is that there is not a final date for the final maps.
So then it could go on forever, right? Illegally?
If you go on for some period of time, certainly.
Thank you, that's all.
Councilmember Hilton.
I'm really glad that you were able to talk to your counterpart over in Morgan Hill to get those plans and tour it. And one of the directions was provided to many of us a while ago, and that's why we thought that, is that we had known that the prior city administrator and city engineer had toured it, right? So it was sort of like that commonality. Another reason, and just so you know too, Silicon Valley Clean Energy, as the board member that represents us, is very well in touch with what we're developing here. And those same services, technical advice, grants, funding, all that stuff is 100% available to you all still. So I'm in favor of doing whatever we can to get this forward, whether that means we use reserves or whatever. I'm 100% for that. Two other points I want to make is that I think it would help you all when you get those. That's a big letter you got in June that unfortunately just got announced tonight. It would be better if that could get shared to us, and maybe it was and whatever, but we got Brad here now that can share that information with us, because I think this project, I agree with Councilmember Bracco, like we need a subcommittee, and the reason why is that we want to put our hands on it. We want to be close to it, and we want to be those advisors. And not only that, but this is something that I'll be asking Brad for our one-on-ones more information on, like every month, but maybe even an off-agenda one-pager on where we're at, because I know this council fears. I can feel it. I fear now. I fear that this is going to get farther and farther away, and the more updates, at least I feel as a representative of this council, the more updates I can get every month on it, the more I know that you all understand where us in the community, like we got your back, like push forward and go get it, whatever we need to. Thank you.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Yeah, so I would like to also agree that I think it's very important that we get a subcommittee to be on top of this. It was a very successful effort with the library, and I think it needs the same kind of diligent watching, if you will, to get this pushed forward. We are years behind in getting this fourth station done, and the community deserves to have this public safety in place. And my concern is, if you go back and you look at the design and the slide that had the vacant lot where the fire station will be, and then the homes that are in question that were going to be developed by KB and now who knows. My concern is not just could this be 10 years, but my concern is could this just never happen? And in that case, we're not fronting that $3.6 million. We are paying that $3.6 million. And that is a huge concern of mine, especially when you look at, I'm just going out on a limb here, my personal opinion, they're probably not considered prime lots if they back up to a fire station. I don't know if that's why KB pulled out. I don't know why. But, you know, it's a huge concern of mine that this is not, there's no clause in there that will trigger that now, irregardless of what is going on with those lots, Glen Loma needs to pay us this $3.6 million. I'm very concerned about that.
And I think I also have a concern as time goes on, pricing is going to go up. And that's going to be more and more out of the city of Gilroy's pocket. So we need to.
I'll have one comment about that. I understand everyone's concern, but I know this piece of ground is quite controversial, especially when it came to what was supposed to happen there before and didn't. And but I wouldn't compare how commercial property didn't end up going there, which it was supposed to, with residential property that is supposed to go there now. It's hard. It's easy to see how commercial property, you know, the challenges with the commercial property industry went way down, but that hasn't happened in the residential industry. So it's hard for me to imagine that these don't get built. That doesn't mean that you don't want to have some fail-safes, and I'm sympathetic to that concern as well. But
I think is, I'd like to know why KB pulled out.
It's none of our business.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's none of our business except for unless there's something that we don't know that now nobody wants it.
That still doesn't help getting that station built. We've got to think of a way to get that station built and soon. Because I agree with Councilmember Ramirez, you know, there's a whole population underserved. We are behind in the number of fire stations we have here. So I know that we're here to approve the construction company tonight, but I think there also has to be a discussion on how we're going to get this station moving a lot faster than 3 years. So maybe we need two different motions.
Well, everyone agrees here that sometime soon after this meeting that we need to put together a subcommittee. Seems like I saw a lot of people's head nodding. Yes. Does that help each person on this council move forward a little bit? Okay. All right. Do you have some comments?
Yeah. If the council wishes to form a subcommittee, that's obviously your prerogative, and staff will be happy to work with the subcommittee. I've worked on a lot of projects like this, particularly, and I completely understand the concern with the finalizing of the final map and then in relationship to the funding. Council gave good direction, and of course, this is the first time I've really had a chance to look at it in 3 weeks, but the funding, you made a good policy statement with respect to. We'll figure that one out. So now it comes down to getting the parcel and getting it developed. What I've done on these types of projects in the past has been to place an item on the agenda so that the council receives at least a monthly update, the full council versus the subcommittee, on the status of the project. So I would recommend that at a minimum, okay? And if nothing's changed, nothing's changed, but the council can say, why has nothing changed? Okay? I also would like the opportunity to sit down with staff, and I'm very impressed with the presentation tonight, and it shows that they've made this a high priority. They understand the council's and the community's desire for this. I've talked to the chief about it. It's desperate, and I get that. So I would ask to have an opportunity to sit down with staff, get a full understanding of the time frame, and I think the last comment from the council member was, what is it going to take to ensure that we're going to get it built as quickly as possible? So I'd like to be able to sit down with staff, have that conversation, and then if not, let's see, we got probably at the next meeting we can at least report out where we are on that, and we can take next steps. But at a minimum, at minimum, let's have a standing item on the agenda every month to give the council, full council, an update.
And when will you do the subcommittee?
We'll get that on an agenda coming up.
Okay. The only, if I may, one last comment. The only reason I have a slight concern with the subcommittee, not that it didn't work well in the library and such as you said, I think in this instance, I would feel more comfortable hearing from the whole council as to any concerns you have with respect, whereas if we had to have meetings with the subcommittee, bring that back, subcommittee would report out, staff would have to do it, could actually maybe cause not a delay, but a little bit more time involved. But if you want to have look into the subcommittee, that's your prerogative, or we could go a month with us giving you reports and then see how that goes. So either way we're good.
Public comment?
Ron Kirkish?
Thank you. When I heard 3 more years, June 28, I was shocked, thunderstruck. This has been going on way long, too long. And it's absurd. We need to break ground. We should have broke ground a year ago. It's time to break ground, and I'd say tomorrow. Thank you.
I have no more speakers.
Okay, additional questions for staff?
I'll make a motion if you're ready.
Please.
So a motion to award a contract to Griffin Structures, Inc. in the amount of $1,108,300 and reimbursable cost in the amount of $54,700 with a total project cost of $1,163,000 for construction management with master architecture services for the Santa Teresa Fire Station design build project.
I'll second.
Can you add number 2 to that?
Yes, and included authorize the interim city administrator to execute the agreement and all other related documents.
All right, second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Hilton and a second by Councilmember Marks. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Moving on to number 8. This is a public hearing. 8.1, adopt an ordinance adopting by reference the 2025 California Building Codes with amendments.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the community. I'm Sharon Goey, Community Development Director. At the last council meeting, we presented the new set of building codes and fire codes for adoption, and tonight will be the public hearing for the formal adoption of the codes. Same as the last meeting, we're doing a combined presentation covering items 8.1 and 8.2 since the process is the same. At the August 4th council meeting, we presented the code cycle timeline. We also talked about the process for adopting codes by reference and adopting local amendments. Staff's proposed ordinances are to adopt by reference the 2025 California codes with the same local amendments carried forward consistent with previous code cycles. The findings that support them are based on local climatic, geological, or topographical conditions, and they are included in the proposed ordinance. Adopting the latest codes with local amendments that are carried forward will help ensure that buildings and structures in Gilroy will continue to safeguard the public's health, safety, and general welfare at the same level of protection and safety. At the August 4th council meeting, council introduced the ordinances. There were no changes to the ordinances as a result of that first reading, and we have completed the noticing requirements. So tonight is the public hearing to adopt the ordinances, including the local amendments and the findings. And if you recall, we're doing all of this in a significantly compressed timeline as a result of AB 130. You might have been reading in the media about AB 130 placing a 6-year moratorium on residential REACH codes until 2031. We are meeting the AB 130 timeline, and we're carrying forward those same REACH code amendments as the current code cycle. So tonight we're seeking council action to adopt the ordinances. Once adopted, staff will file the ordinances with the Building Standards Commission, and the new 2025 codes will become effective and applicable on January 1st. So I have 2 slides similar to last time, 2 slides for recommendations. One is for the set of building codes, that's item 8.1 here, and the next slide is for the fire codes and the WUI code, that's item 8.2. So staff recommends that council adopt the proposed ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to? Done with all of it? Okay, sorry. Staff? Questions for staff? No questions? Public comment?
I have no speakers.
I will.
So that was the public hearing. Are you going to close the public hearing then?
Thank you.
Okay. Public hearing is closed.
Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion on 8.1.
So moved.
First, thank you. Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Hilton and a second by Councilmember Bracco to adopt an ordinance amending Section 6.1, 6.6, and 6.7 of Chapter 6 of the Gilroy Municipal Code, adopting by reference the 2025 California Building Code, 2025 California Residential Code, 2025 California Electrical Code, California Mechanical Code, California Plumbing Code, California Energy Code, Historical Building Code, California Existing Building Code, Green Building Standards, International Property Maintenance Code, and 2024 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code with amendments. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rocco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Any questions regarding the next ordinance, 8.2? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
A motion?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Klein and a second by Councilmember Ramirez to adopt an ordinance amending Sections 10.9 and 10.10 of Chapter 10 of the Gilroy Municipal Code, adopting by reference the 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code and 2025 California Fire Code with amendments. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Sharon. Moving on to number 9, unfinished business, mobile food vending on private property pilot program clarification. Staff report, please. Bryce.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. This item is to obtain clarification of Council's intent regarding the prohibition of mobile food vendors fronting along Monterey Road. Fronting does have varying interpretations based on the definition that's used. We'll talk about that in a moment. And so staff is seeking to clarify Council's intent regarding mobile food vendors on private property along Monterey Road. So how staff reached the current interpretation was from code enforcement vendors and property owners' confusion about how the term fronting applies. The definition can vary based on the context of the word being used. For example, land use planning and zoning has a very specific definition about what fronting means. And so there's some confusion about that, so an objective measure was needed. Staff researched the city code and applied the most restrictive building setback distance of 41 feet as interim guidance. However, after that was applied, concerns were raised that the setback interpretation was inaccurate to what Council was seeking. And so enforcement was paused pending a clarification with Council, and then the enforcement would resume once clarification was received. I do want to point out that that was enforcement of our code provisions. There's still enforcement happening today for the public health permit and the seller's permit. So requesting direction from Council, due to the desire to reinstate the full enforcement as soon as possible, staff advanced the staff report for this meeting, but staff continue working on this matter. Staff received comments that the issue really pertains more to the visibility of the mobile food vendors, and the intent is not to see mobile food vendors from standing in front of a property along Monterey. So staff is seeking confirmation if that is Council's intent, or correction if that's not the goal. Should that be Council's intent, then we would essentially change or more recognize the clarification that no portion of a mobile food vendor would be allowed to be visible on a parcel from the line of sight at each point where the property line from the same parcel abuts Monterey Road. This is a long-winded way to say that at any point along the property line along Monterey, you would not be able to see a food truck in front of that property. Again, traveling along side streets and through intersections, seeing diagonally from another parcel would be okay as long as that above requirement is met. And so staff is seeking, again, direction regarding the understanding of what council is intending for mobile food vendors on private property, and then what that intention is specified, then staff will resume enforcement with that application. That completes the presentation, and happy to address any comments.
Our first questions go to Councilmember Bracco.
Yeah, no wonder they're confused. I'm confused now. So now this doesn't have anything to do with the food truck ordinance, correct?
It is. It's the pilot program. So there's a special permit granted under this pilot program.
Okay, but you have on here mobile vending, where we had the mobile vendor ordinance, and then we've been working on the food trucks.
Yeah, so the zone that was established in that pilot program is mobile food vendor. It's no mobile vendor zone is the technical term of the policy. So it's a very special carve out of the mobile food vendors, just for the downtown.
Okay, I don't know why we're getting involved with private property. We started this out with, we didn't want them on Monterey Street in front of other restaurants. I think if the guy at the furniture store has a huge parking lot, he wants to let somebody sell tacos in his parking lot, I think he should be able to do that. It's his property. As long as they got permit and everything. But this seems like it's going a little too far. Thank you.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
First of all, to kind of respond to that, to some degree, I'm totally a private property rights person, but I think that the intent all along on this is to curate an experience downtown that equates to what we see downtown in some other cities in terms of elevating the expectation, rather than potentially getting to the point where it is like walking down the arcade at the county fair and having deep fried Oreos, and other things. And so I think this is the reason why this is being dealt with in this particular area in this way. But since we're having this discussion, I just wanted to get a couple other pieces of information because now it's the opportunity. Have we received a lot of applications? Do you know how many people have applied to actually be downtown?
So we had 5 food trucks that were fully approved. 2 were only for special events. And there's 4 additional food trucks that are in the downtown area. They are pending council's direction because they are out there on private property in the zone, or just outside the 41-foot zone. And so that was put on pause, part of the enforcement pause.
So the rest of them, the ones like Chicken Bros who came on Friday, have they applied? I mean, because they were not the ones that are in people's parking lots. And I know we had a lot of publicity around this saying how much demand there was to have this, and it looks like 7 people have applied so far, and 3 have been granted outside of the special event. So are we not getting the feedback on this that we had hoped? Was it all just kind of a ruse? It wasn't for real?
Unfortunately, I can't speak to that, and I don't know about the specific vendor, but that is information I received from economic.
So on enforcement then, you say we are still enforcing the health code violations and things like this. Chicken Bros was outside, I think, Promised Land on Friday. Were they inspected to see if they have a health? Do we know that?
I don't know that.
Okay. So the idea that you're putting forth to us is basically if you're standing at the curb somewhere in the city, right, in front of a business, in front of their property line, one of the ways to get what you see as possibly what we want is that you can't see the mobile vending entity from the street, right? That it's being occluded by the building, completely or something. Is that correct?
Correct, of the same parcel.
Okay. And is there any other setbacks or any other thing? It just has to be occluded so you can't see it from their property line.
That's the recommended clarification. But again, this is the opportunity for council, if there's something that the intent is different, then to let us know. So
And to be clear, the understanding is too that if you were, for instance, there's a lot behind the property on the northwest corner of 6th and Monterey that could be paved, and somebody could put, I think that's next to Promised Land, a food truck there, and you would be able to see it as you were passing by on Monterey, but not if you were standing right on Monterey in front of that business. And so that would be okay, according to this, and we would have to be good with that. That's a way to put it?
Correct. If council agrees that this is the
Okay,
clarification needed.
thank you very much.
Councilmember Hilton.
So I want to build off that. Another example, because I was a part of this email group that went around a little bit earlier. And one of the other examples was La Patrona in the back of Camino Coffee. That's what triggered this whole, okay, we're going to stop doing enforcement because we're going to go and tell them to stop, serving back there. But I want to make sure that tonight, if we need to have any clarity from anybody that's in the room that deals with this, is that where they're tucked back in the corner of their back parking lot, that yes, like Councilmember Fugazi said, you can see them as you're driving by or walking by. But if you're standing in front of Camino Coffee and there's their building, it's being screened. That food truck is being screened in the back, so it is okay.
I think in that case you would be on the corner, right? Because that's
Yeah.
where their property ends,
Yeah.
right? Is at the corner. And you are still going to be able to see from the corner to wherever their building occludes from the side.
Mm-hmm.
So they would officially have to be back enough so that you wouldn't see them from that point.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he's going at.
Yeah.
And conversely, if you're on the other side, so from the south side of where the corner is,
Mm-hmm.
roughly, go to the north side of the property line, it would also have to be unable to be seen from that angle as well.
Yeah. And I understand that there's some brick and mortars that want to have a food truck, but the way their building is oriented, they don't have a rear spot behind their building to be able to put a food truck, but they happen to own the parcel on either side of them, and that's whatever it is. It's just a piece of pavement. But unfortunately, you can't put a food truck there because there's nothing to screen it. There's no building behind it. So I want to make sure that is also clear to staff.
Correct. So there's no special exceptions because of the building layout or the design. It would be a standard that's objective to every parcel. And if the building doesn't allow a food truck to be placed on there, then they would not have that ability at that point.
Yeah. So it sounds like, I mean, when this came back, a couple months ago, that nobody up here, including that downtown committee that forwarded this recommendation, had any desire to have some setback, right? That was never discussed, talked, mentioned. It wasn't mentioned before that meeting in small meetings. It wasn't mentioned on anything else. That just sort of came out. And so what I would like to ask staff is just, when we're trying to come up with examples tonight so you understand our clarity, but also at the same time, if you for some reason go down the pathway where you feel like you want to help or do whatever you're trying to do, like, don't make decisions like that without coming back to the council and asking that, or going back to that subcommittee or small group, please.
We had one other thing, too, on the official sheet that was in our packet that we do hand out. There's also one additional piece that isn't very clear to people, which has to do with side streets. So it mentions that you cannot have food trucks on side streets, but it essentially doesn't say until where. So it doesn't say from Eagleberry to Railroad. It basically means pretty much the whole city. On those side streets that go through downtown, you wouldn't be able to have them, at least the way it's written there. So you might want to take a look at that as well.
Will do.
Let's provide direction right now about that, just so we don't leave it, right? Yeah. So if I remember right, weren't we talking about it to going up to Eagleberry and down to Railroad?
Correct.
Yes.
So Bryce, do you hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. We got it.
And for clarity, I mentioned that 3 weeks ago in an email.
Clarity.
Yes.
And this is specifically Monterey Street.
Correct. Monterey from Leasley to La Chesa is the north-south span. And then for the side streets, we ensure that it is from Eagleberry to Railroad.
Okay.
Further questions for staff? Public comment, please.
No speakers.
Okay. Go ahead, Brad.
At this point, I want to make sure staff is clear on the direction from council.
Very
Thank
clear.
you.
Okay, so I'm not seeking any official action tonight, but it sounds like we have given the direction that they're looking for. Thank you very much, Bryce.
Yeah, and we will reinitiate enforcement.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item number 10. Bryce, don't go away.
Not going away, sir.
Introduction of new business, 10.1, creation of an ice center ad hoc committee.
Yes, Mayor, Council. So the Gilroy Ice Center project has reached a point where an ad hoc committee would be beneficial to help with the discussions with the Sharks organization and provide updates and recommendations to Council. So it's therefore recommended that Council approve the creation of an ad hoc committee. Traditionally, the mayor appoints with the Council approval. However, appointments may be made as part of an action of Council alternatively. With that, that completes the presentation.
Thank you. Well, I'll open the floor here to council members regarding the idea of an ad hoc committee for the ice arena. So I know some folks have expressed...
Definitely in favor, and definitely throw my hat in the ring.
Thank you.
Personally, for me, if someone wants to be on this committee, I want to hear why you think we ought to have a committee and why you should be on it.
Okay. All right.
Why no?
Okay, so let's just go down the line really quick to see who's interested. Councilmember Fugazzi? Councilmember Klein's got his hands up. Hold on a second. Let me get Sue who's interested. Councilmember Ramirez, you have a few words to say? Or you're putting your name in the hat? Okay. Others? Others?
Well, I believe the mayor should be on it automatically.
I do too.
Councilmember Hilton, I saw you nod your head.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what Councilmember Klein, he's the one that's been working on this, so I'd like to hear from him.
Okay, well, I've been starting on my right a lot this evening, so I'm going to start on my left. Councilmember Klein, go ahead.
Well, I know this project, or the Sharks Ice, has been around since 2020, and I know Councilmember Bracco and Councilmember Marks were a part of that. I'm sorry, I'll speak into this and not look at you. And at that point, the Chamber of Commerce and the Gilroy Economic Development Corporation put together a partnership. It was a Gilroy Economic Development Partnership, which brought 7 organizations together, which is the Chamber, the GEDC, Visit Gilroy, Gilroy Downtown Business Association, the Garlic Festival Association, Gavilan College, and the Gilroy Gardens. I know from my experience at that point, I was the president of the Garlic Festival, and one of the roles was being on Visit Gilroy on their board. And the one thing I noticed at that moment was the Garlic Festival in the past was always involved, and you can take it back to the beginnings, in leadership in Gilroy, both with the Chamber, with Rotary, all the different groups. And they had really become in their own silo and separated. So I made it a point to speak with, at the time, Mark Turner, who was the president and CEO of the Chamber, and Jane Howard, who was the executive director of Visit Gilroy, that the Garlic Festival should be a part of this conversation. And they let me on that board and be a part of that. And through that whole process, as this has evolved, and naturally the challenges that this project has had, now being on council and seeing the progression of this, my experience with it, and just talking with the Sharks, Mr. Shea, the different people from there, but also with the different groups that represent the Chamber, Downtown Business Association, Visit Gilroy, and their really desire to see this come to fruition. It's very important to me to see this take place, or at least see that we can make this happen, what we need to do to make it happen at this moment. And it's a moment in time that we have at this point that we really can't sink back. We got to keep moving the ball forward. And I know that's what they did to keep that going with the city and with staff and with council. And I think it's important for us to establish this at this point to keep this moving forward. We can't stop this moving forward. And so I'm really, my experience in construction, my experience in value engineering, all those different things, 40 years of experience, parlays into that understanding of what's at stake here, and really working with them to see if we can make this happen, and working with staff again, I've shown a ability to do that, and so that's why I'm throwing my name in the hat for that too. So,
Thank you. Councilmember Ramirez.
So to answer your question, Councilmember Bracco, as to why I would like to throw my hat in, it's not self-serving. Quite frankly, I would like to honor those, my predecessors, yourself included, who worked so hard, as Councilmember Klein brought up, to get us to the point that we are at. When I ran for City Council, one of the platforms I ran on was economic development. And very early on, I was very interested in this project because I see it as a critical piece of our economic development moving forward. During my run for City Council, I met with Kurt Michelson, the chair of the Economic Development Corporation, former Mayor Blankley, Jane Howard, really trying to get a really good understanding of the Economic Development Corporation, its role in this as it moves forward, the status, things like that. I was privileged to be invited to the Chamber's Circle of Influence luncheon, where the president of the Sharks, Jonathan Becker, gave an update on the project. At that time, I met the VP of Government Affairs, Chris Shea, created a relationship with him. I was president of the Rotary at the time. I brought him in to give a presentation to our Rotary Club and update the community on the status of the project. I secured a private tour of Gilroy Gardens for him, where we went and he got a better understanding of the park and the synergy that can happen between the two organizations. And I have continued to meet with Mr. Shea, and I am proud of the relationship that we have built. I've also had the opportunity to engage with local elected officials, both at the county and the state level. In fact, this past week, I was communicating via email with the the chief legal counsel for Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren's office. I was contacted by Sylvia Reynes's office with regards to a grant opportunity for Garlic Festival that actually came to fruition. So I think that I bring a wide breadth of my professional career, dealing with budgets and thinking outside of the box in terms of trying to be creative in budgeting. I think that I would be a strong advocate for the city and for this project moving forward.
Thank you. Councilmember Hilton.
So, when I was on Bike and Ped, I played a role in this. I've got a lot of experience working in our own CIP world, our own environmental world, working with those local advocates. I was the council member assigned to that GEDB for several years, and I enjoyed it. But I'm able to bring that historical aspect to it, and love to be a part of this ad hoc.
Thank you. Councilmember Fugati.
I'm going to try to keep it short, too. I'm a creative thinker in business and bring the business acumen to the council and would bring it to this particular situation in Gilroy, which is so important to us. And we definitely have to look at this in a completely different way, in my opinion, than we did before because of some of the financial challenges. And I think also we have to have a level of transparency with the public that we haven't had in the past in terms of how this is going and what it means. And the communication side of this project really needs to be more, and it needs to be more also into what it's going to do for the community and the community individuals, and especially, in my opinion, and I've brought this up before, especially why is it going to be important for the large contingent of Hispanic population that we have in this city? Believe it or not, The Sharks organization is trying very hard to bring hockey to the Hispanic population across the country, and we have the ability to be a shining spot for that, for them to do so. So I'll leave it at that.
Mayor, may I say something?
Sure.
He knows what I'm going to say. In 2019, when Councilmember Bracco and I were on the Sharks Ad-Hoc Committee, we also had our mayor as the third person. And I know I have been nagging him that he needed to be on this Ad-Hoc Committee because as mayor, there's certain clout, and he, I feel, is extremely instrumental in maybe helping get over some hurdles. Because when you're on this ad hoc committee, it's just not all the connections you have. You are dealing with different issues and different problems. And he works closely with the city administrator. He has that advantage. So I really want to arm twist our mayor into throwing his hat in the ring, because I just really feel you are a very important part of all this.
Thank you.
And you need to be there.
Thank you very much.
Do we still have public comment, or forget? Do we still have? Okay.
You need to have it. You do need to have it.
Sure, let's go to public comment. Great segue. Thank you.
I have two speakers, Susan Mister, followed by Michelle Carlin.
Good evening, council members and Mayor Bozo. I am going to speak to 10.1. I just want to briefly say that at age 69, I became a support person for the family of Foster, from Foster the Bay. Here I thought I was going to be blessing them, but I was the one who received all the blessings, and it is quite a joy to do that. And so much fun at 69. Man, I'm just, 71 still doing it, and one has been adopted. So it is truly a blessing. Thank you all that have committed time and dedication to that program. Thanks for recognizing it. Okay, so May 2019, that's when we went into the one-year exclusivity period. August 2023, the contract was awarded for the build design, the design documents. May 2024, design layout and whatever was all finalized. I have sat through every meeting that went on with that because and the importance of this is beyond understanding. First of all, Sharks never defaulted. As a phenomenal organization, they never defaulted during COVID, and their excitement about bringing this to Gilroy was so evident at all the presentations, and the secondary and tertiary revenue that we will see from this. They will come. You will see hotels being built. You will see restaurants being built, and again with our two anchors, with Gilroy Gardens and the sports complex. And then, of course, Gourmet Alley now, having it being developed. That was the goal of EDC. And my concern is EDC is gone. We have a change in mayor and city administrator, and we absolutely need an ad hoc committee. I already had it in before I even came down here, so I'm gracious. I feel good that at least the names that I had on this list are willing to do this, because I'd like to see Councilmember Fugazzi and Councilmember Ramirez, because what I have seen in the last 6 months is their continual questions, input, understanding, suggestions for items that come up. So I think they would be very involved, very pursuant, and to push the council sometimes, nagging to get things on the agenda as well. And actually, I also would like to see Councilmember Klein in it because of his business aspect and things that he's done. And I think there's a little bit of emotional support that he'd like with this as well. So yeah, absolutely, ad hoc committee, and let's get this thing going. I'm extremely concerned, again, like with the fire station, the delays, the cost, and then the additional cost for anything involved with the project. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Well, good evening. Again, Michelle Carlin, President and CEO of the Gilroy Chamber of Commerce. Hello, Mayor. Welcome to our new city administrator and council members, as well as members of the public and anyone watching on Zoom. So as the chamber CEO, my background has been 25 years in communities from all over California, mostly coastline. The thing that comes to mind that I feel is relevant to this conversation is understanding what a great economic impact this could be for the community. I think it's been put on pause. Not sure what those reasons are, but I really urge you to make this a top priority for the community. So I think having an ad hoc committee is really important. If there's anything that Chamber can do, that Visit Gilroy can do, the Garlic Festival, any of the other organizations that were involved originally in these conversations, I think those people should be at the table in some way, shape, or form. When I was in Santa Barbara, there was some kickback from the Montecito community about a Miramar Beach hotel. If any of you have been to Santa Barbara, that was a staple over the decades. It was torn down, and Rick Caruso, who is an investor, also ran for LA mayor, lost to Karen Bass. He actually developed the Miramar property and flagged it a Rosewood in Montecito. Again, to much downtrodden talk and naysayers, that project, while it is a hotel, what it did for Montecito and Santa Barbara is it actually beautified the 101 on that freeway, because that property brought in palm trees, sound walls, all kinds of bougainvillea. Obviously, the structure itself is very attractive. But I think we need to think in those terms when you're looking at this project. It's not just an ice rink. It's not just an ice rink to have people play sports and bring the kids out. That's obviously a primary goal. However, there's secondary benefits, and that is you're going to get an influx of corporate cash. You're going to get sponsors coming to the area wanting to fund events. You're going to have an event venue location, which could actually serve this community in a great capacity. Not only that, you're going to have entrepreneurs and business owners say, I want to have a business in Gilroy, and I want it to be on Monterey Road. And I think that the city needs to look at how do we revitalize Monterey Road? That is something that needs great attention. And so, again, if there's an opportunity for myself at the Chamber or anyone on our board, same with Visit Gilroy and other organizations involved in this, to be a part of those discussions and be at the table with the Sharks. We obviously have a relationship with them as well. I think that that's critical. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no more speakers.
Okay, so to answer my friends to the right, I know that they're encouraging me, the mayor, to be on this committee. I know it's not a bad idea at all, but the great thing is that any other of the 6 people on this committee, I have the trust in every single one of them. And at this time, I think it's best for me that I'm not on this committee because of I already have commitments as mayor that I do not want to thin out. And so I'm sorry. Thank you very much. You're on the record for asking me to do it. I appreciate it, both of you. But I do have the confidence in every single one of you on here that any one of you can be on this committee. So for that reason, I am going to respectfully decline. So getting back to the 4 that have stated their interests, we have 3 spots. Is there any further questions or comments about that?
I'd like to...
Go ahead.
The comments, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to select Terrence, Councilmember Fugazzi, offer him up, Councilmember Hilton, and myself for the ad hoc committee.
And I'll second that.
Okay, so I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, so there's a motion on the floor for Councilmember Fugazzi, Klein, and Hilton to make up the ad hoc for the ice arena. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
No.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
No.
Councilmember Ramirez?
No.
And Mayor Bozo?
Yes. Motion passes 4-3. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 11, future council-initiated agenda items. We have none. Item number 12, City Administrator's Report.
No report.
Item number 13, City Attorney's Report.
Likewise.
No report. Okay, number 14, we move into closed session. Thank you, everybody.
Let me read the 2 closed sessions. Good. 14.1 is threat to public services or facilities pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, Gilroy City Code 17A11-1. Consultation with Gilroy Police Department interim police chief. 14.2 is conference with real property negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8, Gilroy Code Section 17A8. The property is the Gilroy Gardens Theme Park, 3050 Hecker Pass Highway. The APNs are given on the agenda. Negotiators are the interim city administrator and the economic development manager. Other party to negotiations, Gilroy Gardens Family Theme Park. Under negotiations, price and terms of payment for sale or lease. The next step is to take public comment, if any.
I have no speakers.
All right, and then we adjourn to closed session. The first item in closed session will be to vote whether or not to stay in closed session, and that is a reportable action.
Okay. Yes.
Once we get in closed session.
Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody.